Hi guys, as I promised, I'm doing these tutorials for you to have like a support to check the lessons I did before with you. So I will explain almost the same thing as I explained in the class. So this is Illustrator. So I suggest you to open Illustrator. Just click on the icon AI, it's Illustrator. So now what we're going to check is to see the interface of Illustrator and get knowing the most important items. Okay, so let's open a new document. So as Photoshop, like in Photoshop, we just do Command N to open a new document. Okay, so Command N, you will have this window. So it's almost like Photoshop. So your window might, depending on the version, it might be a little bit different, but you have the same options like on the window. Just the layout is different. Okay, so here we have the possibility to put the title. So we're just going to name it tutorial 1. Okay, so impression is to have the impression format, like just like as you can see here we have A4, but if we keep it we have letter, Lego, tabloid, A4, A3. These are the most used. So we're going to open A4. So A4, I just get down a little bit the volume of the music because it's like annoying. Okay, so now we have here, we have the orientation of the page. If we want a portrait or landscape format, orientation of the page. And for the moment, we can open also the advanced mode. Here we can see the first mode here. It's the color mode. See 4 colors or 3 colors. As you know, the 3 colors are for the screen and the 4 colors are for the print. But as we are working on the screen and to get the real color we want to use, I suggested you choose 3 color. Don't mind this, it's okay. Okay, so I'm going to open this. By the way, yes, before opening it, I want to talk about this option, the number of artboards. Yes, I'm sorry, my version of Photoshop and Illustrator, it's in French, but I will always tell you what it will be in English. So this is artboards, like number of artboards. The artboards are basically the number of our pages. So for the moment, I just try to write, I want to have 3, okay, 3 artboards. So it will mean that I will have 3 pages. I just opened this document to show you how many pages, how it will be. So if I say 3, I will have 3 pages, 3 artboards. Artboards on Illustrator means pages, okay? So I just closed this because I don't need 3 pages. By the way, when you, like, it doesn't matter if you forget to put the exact number of pages here, because you always can change the number of pages with a tool inside of Illustrator, and I will show you which one. So let's open this, like just one page A4, 3 colors, RGB, and the title I put tutorial. You're not obliged to put the title because you can name your file when you will save it. Okay, so okay, and I will have this page. Okay, probably you won't have all these menus open on Illustrator, but because I'm used to, like, I have my preference of menus here. As you can see, I have a lot of preferences. So on Illustrator, it's almost like on Photoshop. You have 3 menus of tools. You have the left side menu, we have the right side menu and we have the top menu. So this menu here, the options we can see here on the right. We can, if you don't have all these options, you have to know that on your Illustrator it will be called window. Okay, on window we have all the menus we need, and if we don't have it here, we just click here and we have a menu open like this. Okay, so on my Illustrator I will have here the new option, it will be here. But if you want to use it, like if you use this option many times, for example the stroke option, the stroke menu, you will use it a lot. You can always like take it out, okay, and develop it. So you will always have on the page like this. You just click and drag. You click on the icon and drag out, and then here to develop the window. And so you will have all this menu always on the page, on the area of work. So I close this because I don't need, but the stroke menu I will need it. This I don't need for the moment, this no. Okay, so now, like the most important thing you have to know, it's that on Illustrator we work with vectors. Vectors are lines, imaginary lines that represent our lines on the print, but actually in Photoshop we have pixels, you know, the little square. On Illustrator we don't have any pixels, we have vectors. So vectors allows you to make an image bigger or smaller without losing any resolution, because it's a vector. So you can make a logo here. If you draw a line on Illustrator, for example, even if it's very small, you can make it very big and it will keep the same resolution all the time. So now what I wanted to tell you, sorry, that many options, many shortcuts on the keyboard you have on Illustrator, are the same as Photoshop. So the Command C to copy, the Command V to paste, the Command A to select all, are the same as Photoshop, also in Illustrator. So let's draw something very, very, very simple. Okay, I will draw a frame around my page with this rectangular tool. So the rectangular tool is here. What we're seeing, we will concentrate on the rectangular and other shapes. If you keep clicked, you have all these shapes. Like you have the rectangular tool, the not sharp, the rounded edges, rounded corners, rectangular, the elliptical, and the polygonal, and like the other. This is the star, but we won't use this for a moment. So I just take my rectangular tool, which is here, and I will draw a rectangle. Okay, so I will draw a rectangle. If I don't press anything on my keyboard, I can draw no matter which rectangle. But like for example, if I want to draw a perfect square, I have to keep shift. So I will draw a perfect square. If I add also with shift, I press shift plus alt, shift and alt. Okay, my square will start from the center, and this is available for all the shapes, the elliptical, the other shapes too. These shortcuts are the same. So I wrote to you to make a perfect. Sorry, I write to you here so you can see. To have a perfect square, you take the rectangular tool. But you keep pressed shift. Okay, if you want if you want your rectangle to start from the center, you have to press Shift and Alt, Shift and Alt at the same time, okay? And you keep pressed. So I hope you got it, okay? So I zoom back, okay, to zoom in and zoom out, okay, the tool for the zoom it's here, or it's, as you can see here on the little square appearing here, the shortcut for the zoom it's Z. So you just press Z and you have the tool for the zoom, and if you just click you have zoom in, and if you press Alt it's zoom out. As you can see it's a little minus coming. Okay, so you click and you zoom out. If you want to reposition your artwork on the page, you just press the space bar to have the hand, and you can click and drag to replace your artboards. Okay, I zoom in to show you my square. So I drew a square like this, so I selected, okay, I'm gonna talk about the selection tool. The selection tool are these two, okay, here, the black arrow and the white arrow. The black arrow is to select an entire shape. As you can see, I have these corners, this little square all around. That it means that my shape is selected. The white arrow is to select a part of the shape. Okay, so if I click with the arrow, I can see that these corners are white and this is blue. It means that I selected just this corner. If I try to click and drag to move it, I can see that I can move just one corner, one side of the shape. If I click again the black arrow, I can just move all the shape. Okay, that's the difference between the black arrow and the white arrow. These are the main two selection tool of Illustrator. So if I want to, for example, I suggest you to learn the shortcuts, the keyboard shortcut for these two, because you always be switching between one and the other. So the selection, the keyboard shortcut is for the black arrow is V, as you can see here, V, and the other for the white it's A. So if I just press A, my arrow becomes white. If I press V, my arrow becomes black. Okay, so if I want to select all the shape, I just press V and the black arrow. If I press A, I just have the white arrow and I can move just one corner, okay, of my shape. So as you can see, I just selected and deselected. To deselect is very easy. You have to just click no matter where, but on the shape. So here I click, selected. I click here on the empty part, it's not selected. Okay, so if I want to erase, this shape, I just erase, click on the shape, and then erase, delete on my keyboard. Okay, if I want to go back a step, for example, I want to get back this shape I just erased. It's like on Photoshop, almost like on Photoshop. I just press Command Z. Command Z is to go back. But on Photoshop, if you want to go back many steps, you have to add Alt and do Command Alt Z. On Illustrator, fortunately, we just have to do Command Z to go back as much as we want. Okay, so now as you can see, we have a line, a black line all around my square. So this is the stroke, as we call a stroke. It's a line. Okay, let's talk about the strokes and fills. Stroke and fills, it's represented here on the left menu, on the bottom here. So as you can see, we have a full square and a square with another little square inside. So this square here represents the stroke. This square here represents the fill. Okay, so as we can see here, we have for each, like if I select this, it comes on the top, so it means that I'm working on the stroke. So the stroke here has three other different little square on the bottom underneath here. So the first one means that we want to add a color for our stroke. The second is we want to have a gradient. I will talk about later in few lessons. And then we have this other square with a red bar in the middle, which is that means that I don't want any stroke. So if I just click, I will have just my imaginary line, but I don't have any stroke. If you print this, you will have nothing, okay, because it's empty. It's no strokes. The same thing is for the fill. So if I click on this square, my square comes on the front. It means it's selected. So the first is to have, I want to have color. So I click, I will have color on my, I just zoom out to show you. I will have color. Here I will have a gradient, and here I will have nothing. Okay, so if I want color, I just press the first. Okay, if I want, for example, let's say that I got wrong and I put the fill inside my shape instead of putting a stroke. So as my stroke here is empty, I just can swap by clicking on these two little arrows here. I swap and I will have the stroke. I swap again and I will have the fill. But I also can have a stroke plus a fill. Okay, so let's say that I want a stroke, a colored stroke around this black shape. So I just click on the stroke square. I add the color. So now I don't see anything because it's black on black. But if I just double click here, I will have this window with all the colors. It's just like Photoshop. And I can pick no matter which color here, or I can pick by clicking the swatches. Like on your version, it would be called swatches. So here I have all these colors. Okay. So I just go back to models. Like for you, it will be picker. The picker is you can just click no matter where to get the right color, and the color you will get, it's here. It will be here. Okay, so I will do a very contrasted stroke. Okay, so that will mean that I will have a red stroke around. Okay, so you don't see much, but if I enlarge it's here. I have a red stroke. But let's talk about now the thickness of this stroke. Okay, if I want to change the thickness of this stroke, I have to get on the menu strokes. Normally you will find here, and I put here to show you, you will have here more or less on the right menu. It will be represented by these three lines, three little strokes. So if I open it, I will have this menu. Sometimes you can have this. Okay, on your version it will be like this. But if you want to develop with more options, you just need to click on the little menu here and see show options, and you will have all the options. So don't forget always like to select your image, select your shape, sorry, when you want to modify something. Otherwise I can change everything here and it won't do anything because it's not selected. So don't forget to take your black arrow to select your shape. Okay, now it's selected, that's the difference. Okay, and now if you change the options, you will see you will change the aspect of your shape. So let's talk about the stroke menu. So the stroke menu, it's, as I told you, it's here with these 3 lines. If you don't have it, you just have to go to the window here on the menu, here window, and then look for strokes on the menu and click it, and you will have the menu appearing here. So just I talk about the stroke menu. So here you can change the thickness of the stroke by pressing here and choosing another thickness. Okay, so as you can see, I have a big stroke here. This I will talk you about later. So this is for corners. So here it's for sharp corners, here it's for round corners, and here it's for kind of prism crystal corners. Here it's something you won't use now, but it's to change the position of this imaginary line. For example, here it's in the middle of the stroke, here it's outside the stroke, and here it's inside the stroke. Okay, as you can see, there's difference between this and this. Okay, but normally I suggest you to keep for the moment the stroke, the first option. Okay, so here it's, we will see next in few lessons, but it's to create a dashed line. Okay, it's to create like sorry, I got a message. A dashed line that you will use to represent stitchings, for example, for technical drawings. Okay, here I will explain you later when we will do the technical drawings. Then here we have other options, but for the moment we will concentrate on this top of the menu. So just if you know how to change the thickness, it's already very good. Okay, so now let's do something. If I want to change, let's change the color of the fill. So if I want to change the color of the fill, it's the same thing as for the stroke. So I click, okay, on the square of the fill. I don't forget to select with the selection tool, the black arrow, my shape. I double click and I choose another color. Okay, so as you can see, I choose like very bright color so you can see. But here you have like the another fill. And if you want no color, you just have to press here on the little square with the red bar to have no fill. As you can see, I have no fill. Okay, so what I have to tell you about now is the artboards. Before I told you when we opened the menu, when we opened the new file, that on Illustrator we can work on different, like in several pages at the same time, which are called artboards. So it's not important that you choose the right number when you open the file, because with this tool here you can always change, add, change the dimension, the orientation of the artboard. It's the artboard tool. You have also another item for the artboard, which is the artboard menu, which is here, or if you don't have, you go to window and you look for artboard. Okay, artboard menu. So here I have this menu representing my artboard. This is my artboard. I can rename it, so I can double click on the name and say number 1. Okay, so if if I want to change, for example, let's say I want to have another artboard and work on something else here, another page. I just have to go on the artboard menu and click and say I want to add a new artboard. Okay, I also have another option. I go back, Command Z to erase it. Let's say that I don't want an empty artboard, but I want artboard that has exactly the same things I drew on this one. So I just click here and duplicate the artboard. So you can see I have exactly two artboards which are the same. So I can do like this. Okay, and then I just click to erase it. So I have, if I want to, I can also duplicate the artboard by using this tool. It's a little bit more complicated, but funnier for me. You have this, you take the tool and you have these 4 arrows. Okay, so you go on the top of your artboard, you click and drag, and you see that you are duplicating your artboard. But if you don't press anything on your keyboard, you will just move it. Okay, if I want to copy it, I just have to click and drag. You can see it. Then I just press Alt and Option, Command Alt, sorry, to duplicate it. Okay, so I say it again. I just click and drag a little bit, then I press Command Alt, and then I move it. Okay, so this is the artboard tool. So as I told you, we can always change the dimension and the orientation of the artboard afterwards. So if I double click on the icon here, I have this window and I can change the format here. I can also change manually. I can put exactly the same, exactly the dimension I want. I can change the orientation, and I can do many other things, but for the moment we just do these options. So I just I want to do it smaller. Look, for example, I want a B5, and I can see that I got B5 format here, and I press OK. So I have 2 different formats, and I changed my format after duplicating my artboard. But the artboard tool allows us to create a new artboard wherever we want on the area of work. For example, let's say I want to work on something very long, so I can just click. I take my artboard tool and I just click and drag, and I can draw an artboard the dimension I want. Okay, then if I want to control exactly the dimension, I double click as I show you, and I put my dimension here. If I want to erase an artboard, I just can click. I go to the artboard menu and I just click and drag to the trash here, or with the artboard tool, I take the artboard tool. As you can see, we have a little cross here on the corner. We just click it and we don't have any artboard. So I think this is good to know, because if you want, for example, like you will ask why it's for, what is that for? It's for example, when you have a lot of elements, for example logos, and you want to have your business card, and you want to have your layout, and you want to have your CV, and you need some elements on which are the same. You can work on your business card, CV, and layout page at the same time. So you can have your logo always available, your telephone number always available. You have all the elements at the same time. Okay, so I will close this lesson because it's a little bit long, and next lesson we are going to, for example, I show you what we're going to do. We are going to work on the technical drawings. Yes, technical drawings. You will see how technical drawings will look like on Illustrator, starting from, for example, starting from an image. You will start from your own, for example, from your own drawings, but we will start, for example, I started from this image. You can start from a picture to get trained, to have exactly perfect lines and to draw perfectly on the top these technical drawings. So this technical drawings is for next class. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I know it's a little bit boring because it's the first lesson. So the first lessons is like TV show. At the first we just set the plot, we just set the basis. So it's a little bit annoying, but once you have the basis you can do magnificent things and you will be able to do great stuff on the next lesson. So I say you have a good night because I'm doing this at night. So have a good night all day and I see you next tutorial. Bye bye.